Okay, Mark.
Good evening. This is the Thursday, January 22nd, 2026 meeting of the Capital Improvements Planning Committee. We are in the Public Safety Complex at 576 Pleasant Street. We are a committee of six. Five are present. One sends his regrets. Declare we have a quorum and we're open for business. I think it's important to note in the way of compliments and appreciation to the town administrator who left Boston 5 minutes ago and has arrived in time enough for us to start our meeting. We thought he was going to be delayed, but thank you, Robert, for making the effort for being here, and we appreciate it.
Of course.
Our first order of business is to review prior meeting minutes. The meeting agenda speaks to the point of our meeting on December 18th, 2025, and our joint meeting with the Select Board on January 13th, 2026. The meeting minutes for December 18th, unfortunately, are not available this evening, but they will be at our next meeting. But the meeting minutes of January 13th are available. They have been circulated to all the committee members and gave a, not so much, but I will say a courtesy copy to our Select Board liaison regarding that joint meeting on January 13th. Typically, we have a motion to approve in a second and followed by discussion, but if somebody would like to enter into any level of discussion before a motion, that would be fine too. Because I think I would like to. I think, and I hope the spirit received by all the members is that this account of that joint meeting in our minutes has been very fairly presented. That was the intent. It was a spirited meeting, and the goal of the minutes was not to relive the meeting in the minutes, but just to give an overview. I think it's also fair to say that the meeting minutes of the Select Board for the very same meeting were posted today. I haven't had a chance to read them thoroughly. I read them quickly, and I think the same spirit was conveyed in their minutes as well. Again, it was a lively meeting, but that's not the place to spell it out. He said, they said, we said. So I think we've captured it. I hope you'll agree. And with that, I entertained further discussion and gave, again, a courtesy copy to Chris, who was present at that meeting, and hopefully that's the consensus of everyone involved. So, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Abstentions? None? They pass. Some administrative matters that still are pending with respect to our particular committee, just to throw out there. Be nice if they were resolved this evening, but at least as a way of reminder, we held elections for officers a while back, and we did not elect a clerk, so that position is still vacant, as evidenced by the minutes that we just approved were prepared by a clerk pro tem for that particular meeting. And we also have a DPW building committee of which there is a position vacant that was filled by a CIPC member, and it's actually the CIPC representative position on that particular DPW building committee. That is available as well. So if anybody has interest in that, that would be fine, but as a reminder, I'm just reminding everybody that those 2 spots are still pending.
I thought Matt was going to be the clerk. No, that wasn't
Well,
I think he reluctantly did it
the first week that he was.
now he's not here, so it seems like he's assuming.
seems like the right time to elect them. Yeah, good
Correct.
point.
That's, yeah, I mean, make it official. I kind of thought we did that evening.
No,
but
we did not.
All right.
I was just probe for that night.
It was just for that evening, you're correct.
Oh, kind of just
Or-
testing the waters to see if he liked it.
Right.
I thought he passed.
Okay.
And as much as you've made a nice idea, I don't think it's fair that we
No, that's true.
do elect him in his absence, so.
That's true.
It's just out there for further consideration. I think we can get by a little longer, but I don't think that's the long-term solution. So-
Agreed.
So just put that out there. We also have CIPC or capital requests that were submitted to the town administrator and by extension to us that have been sent to everybody having to do with DPW, fire and EMS, and the Wachusett Regional School District. Pretty much general consensus is that we would have one of those presented to us each evening, one this evening, certainly one next evening. Not entirely certain that Wachusett Regional School District needs to be present, but the invitation to you to invite them, Robert, is there.
Okay.
But I think their request is simple enough that it's kind of piggybacking on something they presented last year that we all know full well.
Correct. And unfortunately, the price changed, so that's why.
Right. So this evening, we've dedicated and designated the time to the fire department, and we're pleased to say that the fire department chief, Mike Pingatori, is with us. And Mike, literally, without further ado, the floor is yours.
Just as a point of order before we continue, Mr. Chairman, I need to recuse myself from any offerings or dealings with the fire department right now. The company which pays my bills has a significant, I guess, opportunity pending with the town of Paxton and the fire department, so I feel I would be in conflict of interest to sit and go through this. I am compelled to be here, but I'm not sure I'm going to actively engage in questions and answers, but thank you.
I would defer to your judgment regarding the questions. I think it would be prudent if you did not vote, but I also don't think we're going to hold a vote this evening on anything, so.
No, understood, but I guess I just, well, we'll play it by ear. Let's just let it unfold before our eyes here. Okay.
All right. Well,
I'm
let's-
good.
Let's let the magic begin. Good evening. Thank you for having me tonight, and thank you for being here. Just to introduce myself to everybody and members of the public, Mike Pingatori, Fire Chief. One of my favorite meetings of the year. Normally, I bring stuff with me and get interactive, but getting a car in here was going to be a little of a logistical nightmare. So,
Shrewsbury had a good,
yeah, I know. How they so tonight, I'm just going to touch base on 2 projects that we submitted. One was slated for last year, but was put on hold because it was all dependent on used police cruisers being traded in and us grabbing one of those. So we kind of took a different path this year with this project. It's kind of urgent because last year we were going to try and get this car off the road. This year I would like to do it. I've kind of have a workaround, so as I present it, I'll explain to you guys exactly how I foresee this going. So, car 2 is 2010 Chevrolet Tahoe. Our deputy chief uses it primarily. Sometimes we have to swap it between him and the fire inspector, depending on maintenance and things of that nature. But the car itself is a 2010. We acquired it in 2017 to replace a previous 2006 Chevy Trailblazer. This car was purchased with gift funds around $22,000 then, $24,500 actually. When we purchased this car, it had 78,171 miles. Car 2, as you can see, is a consumer grade, go to the lot, pick up a Chevy Tahoe LT. It was a nice car. It has outlived its useful life for us. It was, as I say, consumer grade, meaning it had one battery, consumer grade, brakes, parts, shocks, stuff like that. So heavy duty use that we put it through is tough on it. So as we get moving here, it's starting to get costly to repair and maintain. It still needs a rear differential. New rims, we haven't changed rims yet. The tires have all 4 tires have slow leaks in them because the rims are corroded. And we just replaced the control arm last year, and we keep getting frozen brake calipers. We have frame rust and rot in critical frame points. As you can see from these pictures were actually taken last year's presentation. As you can imagine, over the last winter and starting this winter, the car's getting a little rougher. So you can see on the frame, you got some rust and rot. You have body rot on the doors, fenders, wheel wells. You can see the picture of the rim right there, where the aluminum's corroding and making it hard to seal the tires. And then we generally get various warning indicators, which makes it tough to get a sticker. So the new solution for this would be to replace that car with our current 2019 Tahoe, car 1. That's the car I use. This car I use primarily. This car responds to just about everything, and we'd like to replace it with a 2026 Dodge Durango Pursuit. Last year, although we thought outside the box going with the used cruiser, unfortunately they didn't come to fruition, so this year we kind of reshaped the box. So this is the car that we'll hand down to the deputy chief, car 1. It's got 35,000 miles on it. It is scheduled on our plan for a replacement in 2029, about 10 years. But handing it down to the deputy chief with a lower or lesser call response load, it could perform 5 to 7 more years and be a little more useful to us than the 10-year window we had predicted. So what makes that car better than the car it's going to be replacing? Well, it's a special service vehicle, or an SSV. It's purpose-built for emergency response durability. It has heavy-duty cooling, brakes, alternator, and suspension. It also has 2 batteries in it. It's better suited for my command staff, myself. Generally, when we go on incidents, the cars are idling the entire time there. We're using the radios, we're using the lights, in and out of it all the time. And this would allow us to maintain the warranty on it. If we went a consumer-grade SUV, even though it's sometimes more fuel efficient, and I beg to differ on the cost-effective part of it, but sometimes can be, it's not engineered for continuous emergency duty cycles. And the electrical system and cooling may not support radios, command gear, and lights long-term. especially when we buy a consumer, if we were to buy a consumer grade SUV, if anybody's bought a vehicle in the last probably 10 years, understands the warranty headaches, that if you do upgrades, add things, it can void the warranties. So by us going in and upfitting it with lights would cancel out the warranties on that commercial grade.
Mike,
Yep.
first question, so we're going to let this unfold.
You're supposed to recuse yourself.
I know. The vehicle that you have up there, is that the current
That's the current car that I run now.
chief's
Yep.
vehicle?
Yep.
Okay, I thought that's where you were going with the new one. Okay, thank you.
So as we get going, I'll explain that. The new one will replace that one, and that one will get passed down.
Okay.
So this chart here also answers another question, because we did buy the 2010 used. So why a new vehicle versus a used one? And why a new special service vehicle SUV versus a used consumer grade SUV? Now, like I said in the last slide, the consumer grade just isn't designed for the use and abuse that we put it through. The other thing, too, is buying a used vehicle, we wouldn't have a warranty, and we just don't know what it was used for before that. So, as you can see the chart there, a used one, it's not designed for it. The electrical capacity is often inadequate. The wear on the car would be accelerated, difficult and expensive in upfitting. And I'll explain that too. A brand new SSV vehicle or special service vehicle comes pretty much plug and play, right? The harnesses are set up in a way that we can plug in the lights and everything, warning lights, radios. It has connections where we need them. As far as a consumer grade SUV, wouldn't have those things right at our fingertips. So there's several models and options out there for a new command vehicle. Prices range anywhere from the low 40s to $70,000. So one for one to replace car one, the 2019, would be this Chevrolet Tahoe SSV. As that car sits, I was quoted $57,000. In 2019, we purchased the black Tahoe, car one that I showed you, for $37,000, brand new. So it's a $20,000 jump over the last 6 years. It is a bit bigger. It would be set up a little better. However, you know, it also comes with the V8 engine, so gas mileage wouldn't be all that great, and a little bit in the newer technological advances. The next comparable is the Ford Expedition SSV, brand new, that's $55,000. The Ford Expedition is the same, is the comparable to the Tahoe. This does come standard with the V6, so slightly better fuel economy than the Chevy, but still a bit pricey at $55,000. The next would be the Ford Explorer Police Interceptor. This is at $47,000, brand new. We have a 2017 right now that the fire inspector uses. This is what we were looking to do originally, but as nice as these cars are and as durable as they are, it's still a bit pricey on the side that I'm looking for, so it led us down the path to the Dodge Durango. Dodge Durango right now off the lot, well, we got to order it, but it's $43,000. That price is good for the model year for 2026. It did go up a little bit from when I wrote up the original Form C for the Capital Improvement Committee, from $40,000 to $43,000 over the first of the year. But I talked to the dealer today, and they said you can count right around $43,000. I think it's high 42. So how do we afford this? How do we do this? Because I know things are tight. Things are always tight. The first option, probably the best option, would be to put it into a municipal lease. Now, The municipal lease is a little different than if you were to go to the car dealer and lease a vehicle. The municipal lease we can do for about 5 years, and at the end of it, the car's ours. We don't have to turn it back in. We don't have to worry about any upgrades, upfitting, all that. And the cost on average would be somewhere around $8,000 to $10,000 per year. And that's all interest rate dependent. The nice thing is the ambulance that we approved last year, which is on order, which we should have in September. I had projected, if you remember correctly, around $79,000 per year on a lease for that. That's actually because I was able to shop it out even more. That should be around $71,000, and if we put a little more money onto it, might actually come down from there. But at $71,000, it gives us a good range to slide this right into a lease as well. This will free up money to lease the command vehicle, allowing the current Car 1 to become the deputy chief's vehicle, and then the new vehicle would go to the chief. Depending on where we are come town meeting, we might be able to use EMS funds and buy it outright. But all this money that I'm talking about now would come out of EMS revenue. All right. Any questions on that before I go into the second project?
Oh, I got a couple.
Yeah.
In 2019, when you acquired the current, what we'll call Car 1,
Yep.
I happened to attend a meeting that evening. I believe you were deputy at that point, correct?
Yep.
Okay. The chief at the time made a very big push saying that you needed that size vehicle.
Yep.
And I believe, I mean, it served the town very well. It seems to do everything. But I specifically that night asked about a Ford Explorer because some of the neighboring towns that I deal with in my business had decided to go that way, and we were told it's too small. Is this Durango the same size as an Explorer, just about $3,000 less?
Yep. That Durango is about the size of an Explorer. The newer SUVs, those mid-size SUVs, have plenty of room in them. For me,
Okay.
as the chief now, the bigger SUVs now, mine's definitely, I use every inch of it. I have storage boxes in the back, command boards. There isn't an inch of that car that's used. If someone gets in the front seat, I'm usually pulling out all my clipboards and everything, putting them on top of all my bags and stuff in the back. The Dodge Durango would work fine.
No, I've seen them in
Explorer,
depart. But I'm just saying, I'm just reliving this 6 or 7 years ago when I was told, oh no, we have to have this because that's what we need to carry around.
And we, and I do remember that because I was doing a lot of the research on it.
It was a very special night for me.
The Explorer was very comparable in size. It's just the price was higher than the Tahoes at the time. We had quoted both too. But we ended up with the Tahoe, which is still a good vehicle. We can use that for quite a while till we set the sun on that one.
And roughly, how many miles are on Car 2 right now?
Car 2 is 100 and, I want to say around 108,000.
So roughly 30,000 in the last 8 years.
Roughly, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, yeah, right around 30,000. So it's light use, but it's constant use. So much like the police cruisers, now we don't patrol. It's a response needed, training needed base. But the car's idle for hours on end. Yep.
And the upfitting of the new vehicle, is that included by the dealer?
No, we do that all in-house.
In-house?
So we'll take everything that we can reuse. The radios are, I think, 4 years old in that car, so we'll reuse the radios. We'll reuse as many lights as possible. The nice thing is we have a mechanic in the department. We can get all that stuff at list price versus, you going out and just buying it off the internet.
And are we taking any equipment out of the current Car 2?
Yep, that's where we'll strip it out of. Yep.
So, all right, so if Car 1 currently goes to become Car 2, where does the upfit gear come from
Will come from Car 2 as much as we can use from it. Yep.
going into the new
new one? Yep.
Car 1? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, no, and I think I have it calculated somewhere around $1,500 that we can put back in that, and it's still well underneath the price of.
All right, and again, not to put you on the spot here, but
That's
there was
what- that's what I'm here for
No,
tonight.
I understand, but you had some very interesting information here. I'm going to kind of poke the bear from last year. These Ford Explorer, the police interceptor at $47,000.
Yep.
Is that what we're using in town right now?
Police vehicles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, last year we had different numbers. We had significantly higher numbers.
That's upfitted cost.
Okay, I'm just, again, I'm shifting gears because that just,
Yeah, I mean, that's strip, nothing in it.
no, understood, but then, can your mechanic do upfitting for the PD?
Their stuff's a little different than ours.
All right,
So
okay.
They have all sorts of cages and stuff that go in.
All right, no, I just, as I said,
Yep.
because it's.
Mike, you mind going back, do you mind if I go?
Yeah.
Can you go back to the last screen?
Yep.
So, a couple of questions play out. And by the way, for those that are following, car one and car two, I like to refer to them as the red
Red
one
and
and the
black.
black one. Because car two was actually the first one we bought. That was, arguably, that could be car one. I know how it works. in the fire department.
Car one would be
But the
the,
red and the black.
Yeah.
So small matter, but the narrative that we have, and up there, it says lease.
yep,
The formal form that we have, Form C, says purchase.
yeah, I don't think there was a lease
It
checkbox.
says rental, which
Oh,
is
it-
supposed to be me.
So, yeah.
So it's a lease.
Yeah,
Perfect.
we'd like to do a lease just because it would limit the amount of EMS revenue we use right in a lump sum.
Yep, totally get it.
Yep.
And you also made reference to the EMS fund, I think more commonly referred to as the Special Revenue Ambulance Receipts Fund,
Yep.
which has not been updated through December 31st, but as of June 30th, 2025, had $600,000 in it.
Yeah, so,
That changes month to month, but I mean, it's there. And you also said that at the annual town meeting, that you committed $79,000 to that for future acquisition of an ambulance. Now you've given us a good story that it's 71, which was part of the question, are you going to be able to afford to do both? Now that you have this reduced, it would seem that you would.
yep.
So now the Finance Committee's $64,000 question is, are you still going to be able to commit $400,000 of special revenue ambulance receipts funds to the budget? That
Yeah, we-
sessions of which are coming up in the next week or two.
Yep, we should be able to. So the 600,000 that was there as of June 30th was before that 400,000 came out for this budget season. So it'll bring us down to 200,000. I don't know the exact number right now as to what's in there, but we should be somewhere around 450,000 off the top of my head. Yep.
So again, your slides and presentations notwithstanding, I think we need to, before we put this to a vote, not this evening,
Yep.
but there's four numbers floating around. There's 40,000 on that form that gets submitted to us. There's 57,000 that was up here. There's 50,000, 5 years at 10,000 a year. But I think we really got to tighten it up so that when we make a vote, particularly if it goes to town meeting, we're not saying 10 and it's 8, and we're not saying 40 and it's 47.
Absolutely.
So don't mean to be a nerd in terms of that kind of detail, but I wouldn't want something to be voted on that's not accurate at the end of the day.
Oh, absolutely. So these are all right now just estimates.
Right.
Best, other than the actual price of the vehicle. Yep.
So the other question was, ideally, if we acquired 2 police cruisers a year ago, you were going to get one as a command car. And the police department, which is their prerogative, hit the pause button on that, I think mostly because of fit-up. So Neil actually asks a nice question.
Yep.
If you can fit up a fire department command car, can that same talent fit up a police cruiser? You said no. I want to ask the question again.
To the best of my knowledge, so my mechanics trained on fire vehicles, fire and ambulance. I can't, I'd have to talk to him, and then I'd have to talk to the police chief, and, you know, you run into, I'd hate to run into sort of liability with the police department side of things versus us. Our upfit is basically radios, lights. We slide in cabinets in the back, and we kind of call it a day. But as far as the police cruisers, I'm not a police officer, but I don't know what it entails between, you know, because I know that they have thermal imagers on the cars now, plate readers, that kind of stuff, MDTs. You know, there's a myriad in the cages and all that. So
Hopefully you see that as a fair question,
Yep, nope,
worthy of being asked the second time.
completely fair question.
Okay.
No,
Neil?
I'm good. Thanks for bailing me out there. I thought I was on a limb.
Gentlemen, any questions?
I just had a question, Mike, in regards, obviously, the price is the important factor here.
Yep.
But do you know of any area departments that have Dodge Durangos, and what experience have they had with them?
I don't, in our district, District 8, which is northern Worcester County, I don't know if any of them have Dodge Durangos. I do know the Worcester Police Department runs them. They're actually switching exclusively over to them, so from experience, I do know I see them at the state chiefs meetings and stuff, so I couldn't tell you exactly who has them and who doesn't, but I know they're out there. I know they're functioning in the state, so, you know, I hate to sound somewhat ignorant because I am kind of a car guy, but, you know, they're kind of all the same at this level. Vinyl floor, cloth seats. I mean, I could have got vinyl seats too. I figured I would go for the cloth a little bit, but, you know, and these are just completely stripped out, nothing in them, you know, center console, and that's it.
Okay.
And Mike, what type of warranty is coming with the Durango?
I believe that's a 3-year, 36,000 mile. But I can definitely find out.
Is the Pursuit their special?
It is. The Pursuit is their SSV. Yeah, their
Yeah.
special service vehicle.
Is that a V6 or a?
That would be a V6. Yeah.
V6.
Yeah. So you can get the 5.7 liter Hemi in it, but there's really no reason for us to have a Hemi. We're not chasing after criminals. So.
And again, if you look around, you'll see more and more and more of these Dodge vehicles out there. So they're really making a push into the public safety sector.
Well, yeah, especially if they're undercutting the
Well,
competition.
but it's not just a price thing. I mean, it's that's part of it. But when you look at the acquisition and then they're durable. I mean, they're out there. They're not just a one and done.
Yeah, no, the Durango model's been around for
Yeah.
a while.
Yeah. All right.
Mike, last point, I'm actually glad to see this go the process that's being proposed because, and correct me if I'm wrong, the use of ambulance receipts funds has to be voted on at town meeting, is that correct?
That's correct. Yep.
So this would be the third command car that we've gotten in the last couple of years. The other two never went to the voters. One was purchased under the fire department gift and donations account, completely their prerogative to do, but it was. The black one was acquired through the reserve fund, which doesn't go to town meeting, and we could and we're not going to, but we could talk about that forever and a day. So I think it's nice that these types of things, which you're proposing now, under a nice plan, an affordable plan, but the voters get the vote on it.
Yep.
I think that's the ultimate best case, so.
Good. All right.
So you want to go to the video?
Let's go to the video server. Everybody excited for this? Because I know I'm not. I'm not a tech guy. I'm going to do my best here. That's why Sergeant Thorpe's here too, because this affects.
We were wondering why Forrest was here, so
He's my bodyguard too.
does he
but,
need to come up with you or no?
as we get into questions, he may.
All right.
So the next project that we had submitted, and I kind of just put it under the fire department umbrella, but this is really for the public safety complex, is the video server. Now, this is different than the video we're on tonight. This is for all the other cameras, surveillance cameras, security cameras in the building, and there is one across the street. I didn't miss any others no. Okay. And this records and stores the data that gets recorded on those. So our current system is over 7 years old and unfortunately is no longer compatible with the required operating system and security updates. The vendor support ended in 2023. It creates an operational and security risk. We were having issues where there was jumping from IP address to IP address and cameras were constantly going down. And the system currently houses all public safety and town-wide footage. I say town-wide, really it's just the telephone pole across the street that gets 122 right there and the main entrance. What purpose does the video server, serve? It records, stores, and manages all surveillance footage. It ties video to door and security events. So if you come to the front door here, you hit the doorbell, nobody's in the front, dispatch can see who's there. We have a couple down in the bays, so if somebody comes to the door or has an issue, we can see down at the door too to see who's there. The other thing it does for us too is we have one in the Sally Port, one in the bays itself pointing at all the doors. So if somebody were to leave a door open or a door malfunction when we're responding to a call, dispatch can either try and shut the door or let us know that the door is open and somebody can get that thing secured before either someone comes in or we let all the heat out of the building. And this provides a secure way for public safety personnel to review footage. Often, some people might know that, we do have slip and fall incidents out front. We can review the footage on it. We have all sorts of people coming in to the lobby, reporting crimes or sometimes running from crimes. We've had people in labor out front that we can see them come in. So it helps us to monitor all security for the building. And it's the heart of the complex security system, camera, and access control systems as well. So like I said, it allows us to see if there's something wrong if someone's not here, or what happened. I can go back, or the police chief can go back and review the footage. The video server also plays a vital role in protecting the public. So this video server houses all the video and recordings for the booking and interview rooms for the police department. It creates accurate, high-quality, court-ready recordings. That's what the new one will do. The old one is really where we run into the problems with these. Correct me if I'm wrong, Forrest, but we can record video, but it's not capturing the audio. Or it records the video, captures the audio, but it doesn't line up. So it makes it an evidentiary nightmare. So this ensures transparency. It protects both the police officers and suspects or victims, and secures all interview evidence in the proper chain of custody. It improves investigative efficiency through searchable, retrievable recordings, enables supervisors, detectives, and prosecutors to access interviews when needed. And without a dedicated video server, a police department risks lost evidence legal challenges, compromised cases, and reduced public trust. So what's the solution? So the proposal right now is to implement what's called the Milestone Video Management System. So this allows for greater flexibility, easier long-term maintenance, and the Milestone, it separates software from the hardware, making future upgrades and expansion far less expensive. So the cost to replace the server, along with the licensing of 24 cameras, is $56,000. That's the current estimate we have now. It includes the server. There's no need to replace any of the existing security cameras. They plug right in, and then they can be upgraded with this Milestone server, and then we can add cameras in the future. One of the big things that we looked at when we went from standalone dispatch here and regionalized was that these cameras now are more, I would say, more used by the dispatchers in seeing what's going on in the building here, but also integrating the cameras in the other town buildings into this system for security purposes. So we can add cameras. So once we upgrade this, then we can go and add the flare cameras that are like that one up in the corner onto this and put a 180 or 360 degree camera in the town hall parking lot, in the senior center parking lot, at the library, at the DPW, to monitor any issues that may happen at those buildings. That's all I got. I think I kept it reasonable.
You did good.
Any questions on that?
Mike, two questions. One is, you proposed a way of financing the command car.
Yep.
I could have missed it, but the narrative that you wrote, which both of them were excellent, by the way, but I don't see a recommendation for funding the $56,000.
So I do not have a recommendation at this time. I know Robert and I were discussing
Yeah.
one,
Okay.
and talking to the cable committee.
It's not your responsibility. I'm not sure it's ours either, but we usually make a recommendation. I just wanted to know if there was one that I had missed.
I've reached out to Cable. They're going to put it on their next committee meeting to see if this is something that they would be able to help us with.
Yeah. So the second thing is, and I'm glad Forrest is here, when I know there's a collaboration, obviously, between all the departments, but particularly public safety, police and fire, and this would fall right into it. But when I read the narrative, I saw the needle tilting a little bit toward police as opposed to fire. So is there a reason that you're making the sponsor presentation?
There is.
And it's not jointly, or can you make a connection for me?
So it's somewhat jointly. Obviously, I have Sergeant Thorpe here as a representative of the police department. So part of my responsibility is the overall maintenance of the building. So I make sure that all the systems are functioning, all the way from the heating to the camera system as well. So I took this responsibility on. If we have to do repairs on it, it comes out of the building budget, which I do every year for this building. It's just been something I've done since 2011. So that's why I figured that we would make this presentation tonight and put it all in one.
But will
From
it
me.
be split up in the end?
Yeah, we have cameras on our side.
Right.
They have cameras on their side. We do use it on interview rooms and stuff like that on occasion if we have a suspicious fire, things like that for us. So that's how I've always handled things here as far as the maintenance. If there's a maintenance issue, HVAC, systems related, any of the systems really.
So how do you prorate this? I'm curious. I mean, a lot of towns do this. particularly when they have a public safety complex for
Yep.
police and fire. I mean, is it 50/50? Is it 60/40? Is it,
It's just out of anything that has to be repaired in this building comes out of the public safety building maintenance budget.
all right, so you
Yep.
each contribute to that?
No, we don't contribute. It's a separate,
No.
All right,
Yep.
okay.
There's three departments. There's
Yep.
police, there's fire, and there's public safety building.
yep.
All right.
Right. So is this a candidate for a grant?
I would hope so. The problem with a lot of the grants for this, like Maya does like a safety and security grant every year, it's $10,000. So that wouldn't cover this project. We do have our eyes open for other grants that might. There's just not a ton out there right at the moment. I don't know if there's any law enforcement grants. Yeah, so,
Okay.
yep.
I'm sure you've thought of it.
We're always
So-
looking for grants.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting I'm the first one to ever
No.
think of it, but I
Yeah.
did want to say it.
I live.
Because it
by
would
that.
look like it would be ideal. It's short money. It's public safety. It affects not just two departments, the entire town.
No, exactly. And like Mike was saying, if we can expand this to include our other properties as well and
Yeah.
have it all under one surveillance system, that would be a game changer for us.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
right.
yeah.
How many cameras do we have up here right now? I know you were talking about 24.
There's, licenses for 24. Off the top of my head, I think we're running currently around 15, 15 to 16.
So at least it would
Yeah.
give us the
It would give us
opportunity
space.
to
Yep.
do one at each other location.
I believe the license packages are sold by a certain denomination, right? So
Yeah.
it's not just one license. You got to buy a pack of like.
Yeah, that's why you came up with the 24.
Well, I didn't come up with it.
Well,
The IT, not Suzer, but the IT people that did it in Holden gave it to me. So yeah.
okay. Thank you.
Yep.
David, first?
What is the life expectancy on the new system?
So the new life expectancy on the new system, the hardware itself, I think is closer to 10 years. And the nice thing with the milestone system is it's all upgradable, right? So with milestone, the upgrades are constant versus the system, and I'm not even sure, I think it's a FLIR system that we have now, that just wasn't upgradable after 2023.
And I do take it, though, you have to pay for the upgrades?
I think with the, I'm not sure. The milestone, I think, gets pumped out, and I can check. I can answer that question. Yeah. Well, I'll get the correct answer for you on that.
In the milestone system, is that a, industrial-wide popular system in the
Yes.
area? It is.
Yep. Yep.
Any other questions? No? Well, Michael, as always, thank you, or Chief, excuse me, thank you. As always, a wonderful presentation, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Mike.
So is it, Robert, is it safe and comfortable to say that next week that the DPW, weather permitting,
That's the
got 2 feet of
biggest.
snow?
Yeah.
Will you have it plowed out in time for next Thursday?
Yeah, so that right now it looks good for next Thursday, but
Yeah.
depending on the
Yep.
weather.
We've had to postpone in the past, and we'll do that again if we have to, but that's basically the plan right now.
Yep.
So the other is Wachusett Regional School District. They're, you and I, by way of email, said maybe it's not necessary that they attend.
Yeah.
Is the committee interested in chatting about that this evening? And that way there we can dedicate the entire next week to DPW? So the backdrop is that a year ago, and this is I hate to say it the way I'm about to say it, but this is for your benefit because you weren't present a year ago.
Correct.
Chris's benefit because he wasn't the liaison, and David's benefit because he was not a member. And at least two of you are going to be voting on this, is that the Wachusett Regional School District brought two representatives the night that they presented the idea for boilers in the Paxton Center School. And they were aggressively pursuing two boilers. At the time, they were $67,000 apiece, so do the math. And there was a great deal of discussion by people that were really in the know in terms of the structure of those and the capabilities of those and the performance of those on the committee. And one of the two boilers had just been completely refurbished. So arguably, there was one really reliable. And we were back and forth, because now with two boiler asks, there's three options. One would be no, 0. The other would be 1, and the other would be 2. And the Capital Improvements Planning Committee voted for 1. And the idea would be, now we got one new one and one just completely refurbished, recently refurbished, so we should be in pretty good stead. Mindful all the while of the safety and the comfort of the students and the administration and the teachers. And we proposed that the funding be done in a certain way in our annual CIPC committee report. The Select Board decided not to take our funding recommendation, and they took the entire $67,000 right out of the capital depreciation fund, which currently now has about $37,000. And we could talk about that particular position a little bit later on, but nevertheless, it doesn't have a lot of money. We can't buy a video saver for that kind of money. We can't buy a command car for that kind of money. Might be able to get a fire hose, but other than that, it's pretty limited. And now, a year later, Wachusett Regional is coming back and saying that they need an additional $27,000, which is bothersome on its face, but equally bothersome is in a year's time, they haven't done the boiler, which we were sold at it being absolutely critical and urgent that it be done right away. In a year later, we find out, number one, it's not been done, and number two, we want more money. We need more money. We can talk about it a little bit further, and we can vote on it a little bit further, but I'm just telling you, I'm not happy about this.
Okay. So what happened was they gave the quote, and then when they went to go do the work, that's when it was the 27K above. We don't have the funds to appropriate there. It went before town meeting, so we have to now determine what we want to do with that situation.
Okay, but their responsibility when they come to us is to have the quote in hand.
Exactly.
And they
Say,
missed
this
it.
is good.
They missed it by 35%.
No, I know, it's a very large amount.
And the other footnote to that is the Wachusett Regional School District has its own capital fund.
Yeah.
I'm inclined to say, go use your money.
Well, but doesn't it fall into that category now? Because it's a repair. We've appropriated $67K.
Yeah.
And anything less than, I believe, is it $30,000 or $35,000, they're supposed to handle out of their funds.
I'm not sure that's the case, but
Yeah,
that's
we can't.
assuming you
We can't do
split.
like half
You
and then
can't
they
split it. It's
No,
one
but what-
project.
Yeah.
Okay, but we've
But
got
you are right, like-
we've got 67,000. We need 27 more. They can take it out of their fund, and it's done.
So they'll do the repairs up to like that amount, but unfortunately you can't split.
Well, no, because they put a hood in a kitchen at their, at their expense. I guess last year was a very difficult time for the town, for the committee, for everybody.
Yeah.
And one of the questions I specifically asked was, is the quote good? And how long was it good for? And they said it was good through September, or August 30th, because they were going to do the work when the school was not in session. And now all of a sudden, to see this thing come back again, we're in the middle of this.
Yeah, because it still
just-
needs to get done. So, I mean,
And, you know,
I'll
there's going to be
add-
somebody out there that's saying, hey, it's only $27,000. Number one, it's for the children.
Oh, yes.
Get all that.
Yeah.
But there's another side to this as well, and that is the proper process, do your homework.
And get us
The
the quote.
the amount that you quoted wasn't due just for that day. As Neil just said, it had an extended period of time.
Yeah.
Plenty of time to have executed it. Now, a year later, we find out they haven't. And now we find out that it wasn't done. So the question would be, well, why didn't they tell us they didn't have the money as soon as they found out they didn't have the money? And something else could have been done. Could have come to the reserve fund, possibly, of the finance committee. This is not the administration and not the select board, but this has been handled very poorly.
okay. All right. I mean, I have a meeting with them next week, and I will talk to them about it and see what we can come to.
Do you want company for the meeting?
So it's something that it's a scheduled meeting for the 5 towns, so.
That's code for no.
I understand. I just thought I'd throw it out there because the representative from the regional school district came, and I
Yeah.
mean, he answered all the questions, and we're good to go. And
Yeah.
I just,
I'll see where
man.
it went off the rails, and then I'll have an update for you.
First, I thought I saw your hand.
I was just gonna say, have them rebid it out.
Yeah, well, that's definitely, I want to.
So the
Accurate number.
27 could be short again?
No, I'm just saying maybe it goes lower. Get some close.
Not when it's, yeah, I mean, what, it's 5 degrees out generally.
Well, because the reason I'm concerned or curious about this, it was explained to us last year during this discussion period that when the temperature gets really cold, and I'm going to say below 10 degrees, I believe is the threshold they gave us, both boilers are working in that building at that point. It's not like one runs for 2 hours and then the other, they're both on to keep that building at some sort of reasonable temperature.
Yeah.
So we may find ourselves next week, or, because again, it's going to be cold Saturday and Sunday, but Monday is snow day. I'm going to tell her right now, don't have to do your homework on Sunday night, yeah. But Monday and Tuesday, it could be a disaster, and they could be out because they can't keep the rooms warm enough.
Yeah.
And this was the whole premise behind last year's discussion. We've got to do it for the kids, and we all said, yes, let's do it for the kids.
I don't want to pile on, but you raise a good point. I mean, we're on the throes of, or in the middle of, the worst winter we probably had in the last 10 years in terms of cold and snow. And now we find something that we were all behind of a year ago, didn't come forward. For $27,000, this seems to have been a better way to handle this than where we're at right now.
Okay.
So
All right.
So
on
give our
Thursday, I will
regards
have-
at your meeting.
I will have some updates for you.
Sorry to end on a sour note, but,
It's not sour.
yeah. Any old business? New business? Public? Liaison?
You're planning on a meeting for next Thursday at
Thursday.
7? That's
Yes,
fine.
we're planning to meet on the Thursday, the 29th, and Thursday, the 5th. And we're not trying to rush things, but I think we can complete our work by the 5th.
Okay.
Now, the other thing is our proposed bylaws were presented to the select board, and rightfully so, they needed more time. We weren't there to get a vote or a decision that evening, but just to lay the groundwork. And we were back and forth on January 27th to revisit them, which is a Tuesday, or Monday, the 9th. And as it turns out, David, you couldn't make one of the meetings.
Yeah, Monday.
Two of us couldn't make one of the other meetings. So we, basically, it appears now that it's going to be February 9th.
Correct.
So,
Yep.
and appreciate your running interference and the Select Board Chair being amenable to that. We're sorry, because we had thrown out January 27th, and all of a sudden, near the end, it became a conflict for two of us.
No problem. Yeah, it was very easy to do, so.
Yeah. Probably the two that they would not mind not being present, but as it turns out, we thought it.
Oh, all right. We'll put it back to the 27th then.
You're not supposed to, that's the trump card there, the whole card. You're not supposed to say that.
So thank you. So is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? None. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Abstentions? None. We stand adjourned. 1 hour.